Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of In the Pipeline. I'm business reporter Eric Schwartzel.
And I'm Beth Ponsot from the Multimedia Department here at the Post-Gazette. And this week we're looking at the states vying for Shell's proposed ethane cracker plant, the latest shale controversy coming out of New York, and letting you in on a new process called, wait for it, super fracking.
But first, politicians across the tri-state region turned on the charm this week as Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia continue to compete for an ethane cracker plant to be built by Shell Oil Company. The cracker plant, which processes natural gas liquids to make plastics, fibers, and automotive parts, is expected to bring thousands of jobs to whatever region it's built in. And in any year, but especially an election year, those manufacturing jobs are worth fighting for. Ohio Governor John Kasich flew to Houston in November to meet with Shell executives and personally lobby for the plant. And earlier this week, Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey wrote a letter promoting his state as the best state. Senator Casey's office said the plant could attract up to $16 billion in private investment. And of course, all states are offering generous tax incentives to lure the plant, but those aren't being disclosed right now. A cracker plant typically covers hundreds of acres and alone can employ over 1,000 people. Alan Walker, Pennsylvania's Secretary of Community and Economic Development, told NPR that the cracker in the Keystone State would be a, quote, game changer that would have a multiplier effect on jobs in the manufacturing and chemical industry since ethylene is used in 90% of manufacturing goods. An announcement from Shell is expected any day now, but if you've heard of the company eyeing property near you, be sure to let us know.
Absolutely, and from New York this week, the New York Department of Environmental Conservation, or the DEC, may be looking at some serious overtime in the coming months as they prepare to sift through the more than 20,000 comments that the agency has received on hydraulic fracturing since September.
Sounds like our Facebook page.
Yeah,
20,000 comments.
Now, fracking has long been seen as a controversial process, and perhaps nowhere more so than in New York, where environmental activists are especially concerned about possible contamination of the Delaware River Basin, which provides drinking water for more than 15 million people. In the final hours of the open comment period, fractivists delivered thousands of extra comments to the DEC, hoping that their final push at the end might tilt the DEC's opinion in their favor.
This is the biggest issue in 100 years, both environmentally and public health. And to rush into it saying jobs, jobs, jobs is outrageous.
DEC Commissioner Joe Martin said in a radio interview that although there are just 58 employees to wade through the over 20,000 comments, he remains confident that the review process will take months rather than years.
Months rather than years.
So we'll see.
That's a good metric.
Yeah.
You've heard of fracking, presumably, but what about super fracking? That's finding ways to frack more rock across wider regions, and it's the new technological goal of drilling companies, according to a report from Bloomberg out this week. Reporter David Worth writes on the latest development in this technology and explains how it creates bigger fissures and cracks in the shale rock that allow more gas and oil to escape. Companies like Halliburton are at work on this fracking of the future, seeking ways to lower costs on what is the priciest part of the drilling process, and one that hasn't been significantly updated since its invention many decades ago. In addition to stronger blasts that create wider channels to allow gas to escape, companies are looking into tools that speed up the process. Now, fracking is done in stages, and companies will often have to plug a wellbore with what's called a frack ball after each stage to isolate a new area for fracking. And the folks at Baker Hughes told Bloomberg that they've developed frack balls that disintegrate like Alka-Seltzer and therefore don't have to be fished out of the ground each time a new region is ready for fracking. I was getting very dirty very soon.
Yeah, seriously.
Of course, super fracking won't sound like a super idea to those opposed to the practice, as industry consultant Kirk Schur told Bloomberg, quote, if critics already think fracking is bad, theoretically, super fracking would be super bad.
Well, we'll wait to see what happens with that. But today we have some really big news from the Facebook community, and that's that our Pipeline Facebook has surpassed more than 1,000 likes as of today.
Yes, and this is a big deal because we were in a competition with our news partners and friends at the Allegheny front to see who could hit 4 digits first. And through Beth's hard work and through your active participation in the Pipeline community, we have won. I received a concession call from Allegheny front host Jennifer Shveta Jordan saying that they were all sitting around playing taps on repeat. And we can look forward to having Jennifer Shveta Jordan on this show coming up because that's what we had wagered. We had said, you know, she's always behind that radio microphone. Let's bring her in front of the cameras on In the Pipeline. So we'll be seeing you soon, Jennifer.
Great. For In the Pipeline, I'm Beth Ponsot.
And I'm Eric Schwartzel. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.